us, me tomorrow to go through all this. Okay, I want to now turn to Peter Navarro. The first question I have you were an assistant to the president, to the 45th president, in President Trump's first term. You've been in the Oval. You've been in the Situation Room. You've been there with kind of getting white knuckle. Here you've got this massive fluctuation on Wall Street. You've got these kind of Rebel Alliance guys going after the Wall Street hedge funds. Jen Psaki gives another pathetic the press secretary thing at the Brady Room today. Biden is silent, but his SEC, Charlie Gasparino is reporting, Peter Navarro, that the SEC is looking at the little guys. They're going to start looking at the retail investors there. How do you think? And look, I know you feel Biden's feckless. I feel he's feckless, but he ran as a populist. He went up to Scranton and stole your lines, your speeches that you used to write for the president. He took them and tried to be Donald Trump up there. How is he doing as far as an economic nationalist and a populist in this Wall Street crisis?
All right. Humor me for a minute, because there's a lot of stuff you've been throwing out in the last 10 minutes. Let me just reflect. First of all, buried the lead, Charlie Gasparino. Charlie Gasparino is not a journalist. Charlie Gasparino is a political operative for the Wall Street bad guys. So if he's reporting things to crack down on the good guys, right, he's basically trying to bend the arc of history, right, on behalf of the hedge funds and the people who service him. So Charlie Gasparino, in my experience over the course of the 4 years, just was a constant source of bad leaks designed to push things in the wrong direction. So that's Charles Gasparino. Now, Mark Cuban's really kind of interesting, just for your viewers. The way Mark made his money was a thing of friggin' beauty. He sold his stake in Yahoo at the height of the dot-com bubble, and like within a nanosecond of selling that, he shorted the same stock and made a bundle more. And I will forever have admiration for him up until the point last year when he refused with his big mouth to say anything at all about communist China and what they were doing to the Uyghurs, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Daryl Morey, who took it on the chin for the Houston Rockets. Now, the other thing I want to say, again, just for historical context here, who was the biggest short seller in history who happens to be one of the biggest left-wing Democrat Party supporters? Question to you, sir.
Have no idea. Who?
It would be George Soros, who shorted the British pound, and in the process, Mr. Bannon, he crushed the populist labor people in Great Britain. He basically made the lives of those people miserable. Yet I don't hear anybody in the Democrat Party doing anything but lionizing him. Now, let's cut to the chase here. I think that the Biden administration at this point, everyone I see is deers in headlights. Okay, I don't know if they know what to make of any of this. But what I can tell you, Steve, is if you go, for example, to Bitcoin, for me, Bitcoin was the start of this populist revolution on Wall Street, because that thing started out at a few bucks and now it's north of Mars. I mean, and along that way, Wall Street, these smart guys, right, the smart money, these hedge funds, continually tried to short it. And the Pepes, as you call them, they just said, nope, we like Bitcoin. So a lot of that, I think, is going on with GameStop, and this whole idea of cracking down on Robinhood and Reddit is shameful. And if you between Aaron Sorkin and Charlie Gasparino and the kind of Main Street, Wall Street, right? Those folks on Squawk and all of that. I mean, this is like a shameful situation. So let's see what happens. But from a purely market point of view, it's like I wouldn't be having any money on the table right now. I just enjoy watching this train wreck unfold.
Okay, I want to go to zero interest rates. I want to go to one of the things that are driving this, particularly for millennials and Gen Z. And this is where we're going to put this coalition together to actually change the direction of this country. We've got about 2 minutes in this segment. We need you to stay over for the next. By the way, we're also going to go live to Wyoming, to Cheyenne, Wyoming. We're going to talk about the anti-Liz Cheney rally they had today by Matt Gaetz. We've got two. We've got Amanda Shea from Populist Press. We have Catherine O'Neill, formerly of the White House, is out there with us as a correspondent. Okay, Peter, negative interest rates, zero interest rates. People can't – the savings has no juice in it. Money markets have no juice in it. You can see why people start to focus on not traditional investing in the stock market, but since Wall Street's been run as a casino for 30 years, the little guy wants a piece of the action. What say you, sir?
The traditional idea of a stock price is it's a future expectation of a future stream of earnings. So during the Trump administration, for the first 3 years, there was an expectation of increased growth because of all the pro-growth policies, and the stock market steadily marched up. You know, we hit 25,000 on the Dow, as I predicted in 2016, and we approached 30,000. But Steve, when the Chinese Communist Party came to town on January 15th, and shortly thereafter spread a pandemic all around the world, what we have now is a sea change in what stock prices mean. They mean nothing other than this. We have infused so much money into the financial system that interest rates have indeed been driven down to zero. So there's no point for anybody to really invest in bonds because there's no income stream to be had. Right? So what's happening now is all that money is being focused on the stock market, driving up the stock market. And I've told you on this show flat out, I've said it many times now, 2021 is going to be the year of the Big Short. I mean, this will collapse. I don't even care if they do another $2 trillion for the stimulus. This will.
Hang on. We've got to get over this break. Peter, we don't get financial advice on this show. You were one of the advisors to the president, though. You've actually written a book that's kind of a cult book among investors, and we're going to get that to a second. But right now, we see Bitcoin as a potential store of value, gold. You know, people are sitting there very uncertain. You see the money supply exploding. You just said 2021 is going to be the year of the Big Short. In a minute, give me the summary of that. Why do you think we're about to head off a cliff, and what is the Biden administration doing about it?
We're going to head off a cliff because of a mistake made 3 to 4 months before Election Day when Pelosi and Mitch McConnell would not pass an additional stimulus and relief bill. What that did was permanently kill thousands more of our small business and really just take the heart out of that. So whatever they do now won't be enough. Whatever they do now is likely to exacerbate what I think will be a stagflationary problem. I'm not giving financial advice on this program. I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm in cash. There will be a time when this begins to collapse. I'd look at the Dow. If it goes below 30,000, it probably is not going to get up above that for a long time, and that would be what we call a threshold where you break through a level of support. But look, these are going to be hard times ahead, and I think what's important for your viewers basically is to focus on their own assets, their jobs, and politically, we really have to push for a situation where we have the policies of MAGA, the tax cuts, deregulation, fair trade, cheap energy, increased defense spending. And unfortunately, Joe Biden and his merry band of globalists, they're going to undo everything like that. So this is like a batten down the hatches moment.
Okay, and to batten down the hatches real quickly, what's the name of your book? You can get it on Amazon. We're going to get the cover of it up later in the show. What's the name of the book?
It is a classic. I wrote this thing like 20 years ago, but it's great. It's If It Rains in Brazil by Starbucks. It was a cult classic on Wall Street for many years, and people still have it on their library. It's well worth kind of perusing, understand kind of how global events move things. The Brazil thing is if it rains in Brazil, coffee beans are cheaper, Starbucks makes more money because their margins are better. That's kind of
Peter Navarro. Peter, give us your social media coordinates so people can get to you during the day.
Go to NavarroReport.com. Download the report on election fraud. Real P Navarro is Twitter, but they seem to think that I'm a dangerous man right now, not for what I said, but for what I might say about the clowns on Capitol Hill. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm getting PeterNavarro.com up soon again, though. I had to retire Steve, during my White House years. Yeah, it'll be up in a few days.
Go to Navarro Reports, read the whole thing of the Immaculate Deception. Peter Navarro, thank you very much. Spend time.